Progression on me, progression on three.
No plugins. We live. Kara Dawn in this thing, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited for this. I haven't done an interview like this before, so I'm excited.
Right. Well, I can already tell that you're full of life. I'm excited to see what we're going to learn about you today. So, now, I've been a part of the music scene personally for probably here in Tulsa alone in maybe 6 or 7 years. I can't say that I'm not very familiar with Kara Dawn, so I want to know, like, how long have you been a part of the scene? Are you from Tulsa?
I was born in Tulsa. I'm from Jinx.
Okay, sweet. So how did you become a part, like, how did you get into the music scene here in Tulsa?
I've always kind of, had music just like in my blood, but,
Right.
My cousin used to play shows at the Pink Eye.
Okay.
Shout out to the Pink Eye.
Okay.
Whenever it was still a thing. And I just, over the years, just made connections with people just jamming, doing music like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been writing for quite a while. So
Right.
more recently, it's just been kind of like, I realized I haven't released any of the stuff that I've written. I just have this like compilation of material that I didn't realize how nervous I was to let the public see that, if you will, because it is very personal. It's vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And my manager, Daniel, actually, he's helped me understand that I'm a perfectionist, and that's why I haven't released any of my stuff.
Right.
And my friend Rachel, who's part of my team as well, she started telling me, without knowing that about what he said to me, started telling me repeatedly, progress over perfection.
There you go.
And I'm like, okay, I need to start, really thinking about that, because there's times where I'll perform and I'll feel like, man, that was garbage. And people are like, wow, that was really cool. That was really good. And I'm like, okay, like I could really still reach people even if I don't feel like it was my best.
Mm-hmm.
And part of why I want to do this is to reach people, and touch them. So, yeah.
All right, so I heard you say that you were nervous, and that's so weird to me because it's always the people who are really good at something that are nervous about putting it out. Mm-hmm. And then it's the people who like mediocre, like not good at all, that
just
you know what I mean?
Dropping songs all over the place. Yeah.
So if anybody knows or heard you sing before, without a doubt they know that you really can sing. And that's why it's so weird to me that, I'm not more familiar with your art in the space. So I guess that's more so what I want to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Who are some people who influenced you, like, in your music?
Definitely Whitney Houston.
Obviously.
I'm gonna get emotional. Let's move on. Christina Aguilera. When I was younger, I listened to her a lot. NSYNC was a big, Justin particularly in NSYNC,
right.
But NSYNC. I'll still bump their music today. I love a lot of their stuff. So.
Yeah.
And more recently, like, Rihanna, Beyonce, Russ, actually.
Oh, okay, Russ.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. As the conversation evolved surrounding, like gender identity and things like that, I was like, you know what? I don't have to subscribe to being this like girly artist. I can approach from maybe an androgynous place. A lot of people peg me as a lesbian whenever they first meet me, but as you can tell, I don't be doing a whole lot with my fingers in that area because I've got these nails on. But still, yet I am very familiar with the LGBTQ community because I have a lot of friends who are part of it. Okay. And really just like taking a lot of, I don't know, like inspiration from what Russ has put out. Mm-hmm. I didn't know. So Cherry Hill, I don't know if you've heard that song.
I'm not familiar.
Okay. It's a song that he did where he does this, he's singing and he does this vocalization and it's soothing and it's almost kind of eerie. And anyway, then, a few years later, like I start listening to his rap and I don't tie it in until I see it. And I'm like, wait, that's him? Like he's eclectic. He has all of these talents and he can do different styles of music, which he predominantly sticks to rap now, but I appreciate the fact that he like stepped outside of that to put out Cherry Hill the way that he did, because that doesn't, that doesn't fall into the box that people would want to put him in. So it kind of made me feel better about the eclectic music that I write, because it kind of does range in genre here and there.
Right. Okay, so backtracking just a little bit. I know you said that people try to classify you as Les.
Yeah.
What do you identify as?
I'm straight.
Okay, easy.
Yeah.
Right. There we go.
I'm straight. I mean, I do believe that sexuality is a spectrum. I think that women are beautiful, but the idea of being physically involved with a woman it's not my favorite.
There you go. Different
men are my favorite. They are, but yeah, I have a lot of friends that are a part of the LGBTQ community, and I respect love for what it is.
Straight up.
So.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long would you say, if you had to put a date on it, have you been actively a part of the music scene, whether that's just in general or in Tulsa alone? So
the scene, meaning like performing?
Like publishing music or even performing?
Well, I'm an actor as well as a singer. I've been doing professional musicals in Tulsa at the PAC since about 2012.
Oh, wow. So you're not a stranger to...
I'm not a stranger to the stage.
Yeah.
I've realized I'm not a stranger to singing in live venues and things like that. But once I got in the booth, I realized, like, this is completely different. Yeah. I'm not hearing my voice bounce back to me.
Yeah.
And it feels more vulnerable. I just now recently started feeling comfortable getting in the studio, hearing myself breathing in the microphone, things like that. You know what I mean? In my headphones, I'm like, oh my God, I hear myself smacking when I open my mouth. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just recently, like, I've started feeling myself in the studio a little bit more, and I feel more comfortable. I feel more empowered whenever I'm in there now.
There we go. So would you say that you're slept on, like, as an artist, like excluding your history with, on stage, acting and stuff, but just
Cara Dawn, right?
There we go.
My music, my original music. It's hard to answer that because it's like, yes. And of course my ego, like I want to be like, these bitches don't even fucking know what I'm capable of. Are y'all for real? But at the same time, I know that that's largely in part due to the fact that I haven't released any of my music, and that's my fault. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm working on dropping my stuff this year in particular. I want 2021 to be a lot of my music that I've been kind of like filing away.
There we go.
And saving for later. I want to start releasing that because I'm ready for new projects.
And we're going to get into that. I want to talk about the music. But before we get into this, a few other things I want to discuss. And just your opinion, like, since you've entered the scene, like, what have you observed about, like, Tulsa music since you've become a part of it?
It's crazy because it didn't seem like Tulsa artists showed a whole lot of support for one another. And more recently, I've just been seeing everybody kind of come together and lift one another up. The Fire in Little Africa project, like, that's amazing that they're gonna spread the word about what happened here in Tulsa, because truth be told, like, a lot of people don't know about that, and that's crazy. So it's awesome to see everybody kind of coming together, supporting one another's art, and I feel like more recently the support's it's booming, it's growing, and it's becoming something that I'm proud to be a part of. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so let's transition and get more into the music now. Now, I know you've been hanging on to a lot of your music for a while. So what does releasing that look like? Do you have a project? Are you releasing singles? Kind of give me an idea of what your releases look like.
I don't know the number, but I have a lot. It's double digits. I have a lot of songs that I haven't released. And I'm curating an album right now. A couple of those are going to be singles that I release with a video project as well. Before I drop the full album, most likely. I mean, that's the plan, right? But what happens when we make plans? You never know. Right. So that's the plan as of right now. But I also have a 3-song EP that I'm about to release. I actually worked on it with a local artist named Solar Star. Okay. He's super talented. He also shoots videos. He's an engineer. He's a fantastic rapper. He can sing. I'm okay. Yeah. And he did the cover art for me.
Okay, sweet.
So it was really cool. Yeah. I kind of told him what this EP really meant to me. And he kind of sat there with me and created the art right there with me. This was actually yesterday. We finished up laying down the vocals and everything.
So when are you looking at releasing this EP?
I'm hoping within the next month.
Okay, sweet. Now, what is this EP about? Is it themed or is it just Caradon?
It is themed. Man, I didn't know you were going to ask me that.
Right.
So this is actually, this is to commemorate my relationship with a friend of mine that I no longer speak to.
Okay.
This whole album is dedicated to that part of my life because I remember it fondly, even though we fell off and all of that. So yeah, that's what this little 3-song EP is going to be about.
Okay, so is it a he or a she, or they gonna have to listen to find out?
Look at you, nosy. Damn. It's a he.
Is it?
Y'all will figure it out anyway once you listen to it.
So let's talk more about your music. Is it what would you say your genre is? Is it R&B? Is it neo soul?
Man, see, and that's what I was getting into about the eclectic. It's I write some neo soul. I write some that you might consider R&B, pop, dark pop. I rap too.
Sweet.
A lot of times, actually, though, I'll it's more spoken word. Nice. I do rap. I do have I'll spit bars, but at the same time, a lot of times it's more about I'll just be speaking my truth to the beat,
Right.
So yeah.
So what's your background with music like? You know what I'm saying? You said you from Jeans. This is not normal. Something that from Tulsa that I normally observe from Jinx folk to be as openly creative as you are. But I don't know. But this is just my observation.
Right.
What's your background? How did you find this passion?
So I realized that I liked singing whenever I was 6, and there was a talent show, and I was I want to sing in it. And I was I'm singing Christina Aguilera's song at 6 years old. I don't care.
Wow.
So, man, I was extra too. I had this feather boa strapless dress, these long gloves, and it was a whole thing. But that was the first time I sang in front of an audience. And then from there, I wrote my first song when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
I might still release that. It's still a good song. I'm damn.
What?
What?
What are you talking about at 8 years old?
I was talking about losing, I was writing about lost love, and I had never even been in love. I don't know.
Christina Aguilera fan.
Right.
I kind of get that.
You feel me?
That's dope. So what's your goal for 2021, musically?
I want to show the world who I am, and whoever vibes with it, and I trust that. My goal ultimately is to release as much of my music and be proud of it,
right?
As I can.
Right. So what determines what makes you proud? Is it streams? Is it sales?
I mean, of course, I'd love to have a crazy amount of viewers and stuff like that, but I do trust that will come in time. Right. It's more so about I want to be proud of the project.
There you go.
This 3-song EP, I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of my delivery. I'm proud of my writing. I'm proud of my technique. And I'm proud of just the fact that I made it a whole cohesive project. It tells a story, and it also brought me closure in a way that I didn't know that it would. So, yeah.
Okay, so with you being a singer, well, I know you you do more than just sing, but speaking specifically to the singing part of it.
Yeah.
In hip hop and rap, it's kind of like taboo for you to like rap something that you didn't write. What about in singing? Is it okay for you to be singing songs that you didn't write, or is that something that you do?
Well, okay, so that's a service that I offer.
Okay.
It's subject to approval.
Okay.
Okay, so if somebody wants to reach out to me for a feature and they've already written their hook or whatever,
Right.
I need to like what they've written.
There you go.
And want to speak those words to the people.
Right.
Aaron Sawyer actually, he hired me to do
Clutch.
some of his hooks on his recent project, his Legacy album, and I was like, all right, let's see what this dude has. I might have to be mean and be like, nah, dude, I'm not. That's trash. But it had a message. It was beautiful. And I was like, hell yeah. I was like, this is something I would write, you know? Like I was really proud to be on that project. But aside from that service, and that's if somebody reaches out to me, other than that, no, yeah, I feel like I want all of my art that's mine to be mine.
Yours, exactly.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, so one of the last questions I want to ask you pertaining to the music is generally, I guess this really wouldn't be a general answer, but I'm going to say it anyways. Generally, what are we going to hear you talking about in your music?
Experiences.
Right.
My truth. The truth. If I can channel, messages for the people, like that's something that I definitely want to speak truth, speak my truth. And so that's going to be that's hard as like a tarot reader and as a healer. It's hard because I know that people are going to be kind of like putting me under a microscope in a sense. And there are going to be songs that I completely wrote that song in my ego, and I don't want it to, I don't want it to be destructive. So I have to be careful with that. But there is a song that's going to be on my album called Suck a Fucking Dick.
Okay.
And it's,
there we go.
And it's about whenever people just need to suck a fucking dick.
Okay, straight up.
Okay.
Straight up. I'm ready to see what you're talking about on
Yeah.
that. All right, that's sweet. And it's interesting you mentioned the tarot reading thing, because I also had a question about that. I noticed it's first thing you see on your bio whenever you get on your Instagram page. So for somebody who's unfamiliar to tarot reading, explain to me what that is.
Okay. So tarot reading is a form of divination. Every tarot reader is different. So like some people like tell the future or whatever. I don't do that. I don't claim to see into the future. But my tarot readings do provide insight into your present situation or circumstance. And a lot of times it's just, your angels or spirit guides coming through to give you a message that you just need to hear.
Straight up.
So yeah, tarot, from what I understand, originated in Italy in like 1400 or something. Long time ago.
Right.
But I've been doing it since 2011, and it's just proven over the years to be a calling of mine. Every time I do a reading for somebody, they're like, okay, wow, like I needed that. Or,
Sure.
They'll come back later and be like, remember how you said this? And I'll be like, no, because I don't remember my readings.
Right.
I can't remember all of that. I just go and say what I have to say to them, but they'll come back with like confirmation that like what I said was what they really needed to listen to or what have you.
Gotcha.
So that's what's kind of kept me going with that.
Okay, so how did you get into tarot?
Yeah. So I had a couple readings like in high school, and I was like, "Ooh, this is interesting." I never thought
Like somebody read you kind
yes.
of? Okay, gotcha.
And I never thought I would be the one reading people ever. I never thought that. But I moved up to Pennsylvania out of high school to tour with this group that performed for VA hospitals. And one of the guys that had been in the group the year before me, he did tarot readings, and which was kind of taboo at the time because it was also like a Christian group. And
Gotcha.
so he like gave me a reading, and I was like, that's crazy. I was like, and I asked him what you're asking me, how'd you get into this? And he essentially told me that, it's kind of like the wand chooses the wizard type thing. Like whenever you find your tarot deck, and I was like, oh, okay. And he and I are at King of Prussia Mall one day. You know, this is weeks later. And I'm like, let's go into Tiffany's and pretend like we're getting married, and I'll be really bougie so I can try these rings on. So we're in there doing that. And I look across the way, and there's this shop of like different silks and like floor pillows and like really vibrant colors. And I was like, I have to go in there. Yeah. I can't afford anything in this store, but I need to go in there.
Shut up.
And I went in there to look, and they just had this single tarot deck sitting there. I'm going to show you. Because I still have her. This was my first deck. It's the Osho Zen Tarot deck. You guys can see that.
Is that the front or the back of it?
This is the front. These are the different images that would come through for messages.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and I was like, I looked at it, it's so colorful, and like the images, a lot of these I want tattooed on me.
Nice.
They're beautiful. And so I was like, this is my deck. I was like, that's crazy. And then I was convinced by another member of the group that was evil and bad and wrong, and God wouldn't want that. So I threw him away.
Right.
And
that same kind of deck like that?
It was, this exact, well, not obviously not this exact deck, but yes, that it was the Osho Zen deck. But then I get back to Tulsa. I ended up opting out of my contract with them because there was some questionable things going on, and I was like, I don't really want to be a part of this. So I opted out, and I got back, and I'm walking down Cherry Street with my friend, and I was like, man, I don't know how to describe this tarot deck. I wish I could tell you like what these images looked like. They were so pretty. Like I can see them in my head, but I don't even know how to tell you what they look like. And we're walking up the Peace of Mind bookstore steps as I'm saying this, and I turn, and there's the book for the Osho Zen tarot deck, and I was like, I got loud, and it's if you know Peace of Mind bookstore, it's kind of like a library vibe, but I was like, this is it! Like I was so excited.
You were just talking about it too.
Yes, I was just telling him on the way up those stairs, so I was like, this is insane. So I had to get it. I knew that was a sign. I was like, you know what? I believe in God, and I believe in Jesus, and you know, I pray, and I meditate, and I try to like stay connected. And I was like, man, I don't want to think that this is bad. I feel like God brought me back to this deck for a reason.
Straight up.
And with the amount of people that have said I've helped them with my readings,
makes it all worth it.
Yeah, it does.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. Well, now that's a whole nother interview that we got to get into, because I got a ton of questions that I could ask.
I could do a whole reading for you. We could do a spread. I mean, I don't know if you want your business out there like that in an interview, though, because they will come for you.
Right?
Yes.
Well, we definitely got to get a whole nother segment on tarot. But I also wanted to use some of our time to talk about your acting as well, because like you said, you did like acting well before you started publishing your music. So like, tell me a little bit about how you got into acting. It's
funny because I never really saw myself doing drama like as an elective, but in 9th grade, I'm going into 9th grade. They're doing all this recruiting at enrollment, like come do ROTC, come do this, come do that. Well, ROTC looked good because there was a cute boy in it, right? So I'm like, Mom, I'm going to be in the military. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, and she was like, I don't think she knew until we got home, and she was like, why do you have ROTC on here?
Right.
And I was like, because they were also going to Mardi Gras. And I was like, I'm going.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah they were going to New Orleans, and I was like, look, Mom, I want to do it. It is what it is. And she was like, you have to do push-ups whenever they score a touchdown, Kara, and it's jinx. And I was like, so? I'm like, internally, I'm like, no.
Yeah, right.
She's like, I'm going to go and put you in something else. What do you want? And I was like, I don't know. I guess just put me in art or something.
Right.
And she threw me in drama, and then I fell in love with it.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I did it all through high school, and then out of high school started doing it professionally. It's a really big love of mine. Stage acting, but also I've recently been getting into like film acting, which is different. It's very different. You know, like on stage, you got to have these big, grandiose movements so that the people in the very back can see what you're doing.
Right.
But like film, it's the complete opposite. It's the
Yeah.
subtleties that really like hit
Right.
and drive it home. So it's interesting to like try and work out that range as an actor for sure.
So at a high school, you said that you did it professionally. Is it something that opportunities were presented to you, or something that you pursued to make it a professional?
I kind of both.
Mm-hmm.
I had done it, in school, and I also did it with like an acting troupe outside of school.
Mm-hmm.
And this acting troupe was like one of the things that kind of really like helped me feel myself as an actor.
Gotcha.
And the woman who was my director in that acting troupe, she's not very much older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
She had taken it over for her mother, who founded what was called Youth on Stage at the time. And she started doing some shows around town, and I always kind of like looked to her as like a mentor. And yeah, I auditioned for Tulsa Project Theater, which is the equity company here in Tulsa. They were doing a musical called Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Mm-hmm.
I did that with them, and then I was just ensemble, but I was getting paid.
Right.
And I was like, that's crazy.
That's
Like,
awesome.
what? I'm getting paid? Like, this is wild.
That's awesome.
But then after that, we did Hairspray, and I was cast as Velma Von Tussle, so like the bitchy mom, the Michelle Pfeiffer character.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of shows with them. We did Godspell. I had a leading role there. We did Shrek. I was the dragon. She has like this big like, she wails in this big like moment. Her song is crazy. And then recently we did a show. Oh, I was also, what's it called? Audrey 2 in Little Shop of Horrors. So the plant.
Okay.
Was the man-eating plant, which is generally played by a man. But it was weird. Whenever I went into audition for that, I was like, I was looking at, they typecast. Everybody does. It just is what it is. And I'm like, so typecasting wise, what role would I want? I guess I could do this. I really want to play the plant.
Right.
You know, like, but okay, let me calm down. Like, and I went in there, and they had the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, shut up.
Right.
That's crazy. Like,
That's
right
awesome.
before I got in here, I was thinking about it, and I was like, that'd be cool if they wanted me to play the plant. And then I ended up playing it. And one of the more challenging roles was the recent role that I did at the PAC here in Tulsa with a show called Lizzie, about Lizzie Borden, which was a real story that really happened in Massachusetts. I played the live-in maid who was Irish. And yeah, that accent was one of the hardest ones I've ever had to study. It was very difficult.
Interesting.
But I felt a responsibility to bring like a realness to that character.
Mm-hmm.
And in these other renditions of the show, her name was Bridget. They made Bridget very like hokey and like, and I was like, man, no, like she was there and she was living with them, knowing all of this shit was going on, and she had to keep her fucking mouth shut because she was the help.
Yeah.
And she probably also acted as somewhat of like a maternal, like almost like a mother figure to Lizzie, because her stepmom was a bitch. Apparently she was a horrid, wretched person, and it was just like, I was like, I want to bring something raw to this character.
Straight up.
And I felt like I really got to execute that. I miss that show a lot because that's something that like I was really, really proud of, and we only got to do it for like a short run. Mm-hmm. But I'm just really honored that I got to be a part of that show in general.
So one thing I'm hearing when I listen to you is kind of reminded me of Degrassi and how Drake was a part of Degrassi. This may be way off the wall, but hopefully I can bring it on. So I kind of look at how successful Drake is in music and kind of compare it to his acting career and how successful that was to me. Do you feel like there's some kind of correlation that goes with music and acting?
100%.
Yeah.
100%, man.
what's the most interesting role or gig that would you say you would have to mention?
Man, that's hard. If I had to say my favorite role, that's really fucking hard, man. It would be between Audrey too, because we brought an element of like female empowerment to the fact that I was the one playing the plant.
There we go.
And I really liked that. I'm usually typecast as the villain in a lot of shows. That's kind of just what people, that's what I'm good at.
There it is.
But the other one would be the Lizzie musical.
Easy.
Yeah. I really appreciated what went into trying to develop that character. It wasn't easy for me. It wasn't. I was going off of trying to go off of what these other women had done in the past, like on the recording and in these other like bootleg versions. And I was like, no. I was like, why are they delivering it like that? This is not a fucking funny story.
Yeah.
This isn't funny. Like, you know, like, why is she like up there like, no.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? This story is actually very tragic, and Bridget was a real person, and I feel a responsibility to bring a realness to her as a person that's playing her, because she's not a character. She was a person. And yeah, it was really cool. It was a very small cast, and I really cherished that. Oh, the woman that I told you earlier was like my mentor growing up in theater. She was in that show with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a 4-person cast, and she was in that show with me. It was just 4 women, and it was a very tight-knit, like, there was a lot of bonding that went into that to pull it together to become, you know, this ensemble cast that was able to captivate the audience just being 4 people.
Right.
You know? So that was really cool to get to do that and get to bring that element of realness to Bridget's character, and also, you know, sing and dance and act alongside somebody that I've always admired in theater and as a vocalist as well. Her name's Liz Hunt, and she's just phenomenal.
Is that something that like people can go watch now, or is it only something you can see live?
It's illegal to record. It's illegal to record that stuff. It kills me, man, because it was so good, and I wish that we could have gotten it on film. We've all talked about, like, we're all down to do it again. If you guys ever want to do it again, we'll relearn our lines. Let us know.
Right.
I'm hoping that one day that we maybe actually will get to do that. But
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Understandable, but hey, that's pretty much all I got for you. I would say, do you got any shout outs or last comments that you want to make?
Oh, man. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Rachel. I love you. Daniel, love you, man. And mom, dad, brother, almost sister-in-law. I love you guys. And all of the people over the years who have just shown me support and encouragement, telling me they're ready for my music, even though they haven't heard how I write. You know, that's what's kept me going, even though I've been too scared to drop my stuff up until recently. Bless y'all. And shout out to Liz Hunt as well.
Word. Shout out to y'all. Well, hey, let them know where to follow you at.
My Instagram handle is Kara, Kara _Dawn, DAWN _music. All of my other stuff, it'll be, you know, I'll be filtering it through my stories and trying to promote and stuff, so you guys can catch me there. And you can look me up. Right now I've got some features out and stuff. You can look up Kara Dawn on streaming platforms, and you should pull up some things. But soon you'll be able to pull up
everything.
Lot.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you saw her here first. Kara Dawn. Go follow her everywhere. Kara _Dawn _music. We checking out.
Thank you so much.
Progression on me, progression on 3.
Shit, here we go. Like this. Look, 7 days a week.